Hello, once again. This is Third Eye TV, and we are reaching you from the Central Business District in Abuja. The seat of government is in Abuja, and of course, some people will say the center of civil service. But all the same, we are reaching you here in Abuja, and we are Third Eye TV. My name is Ben Shaman, and you can always like us on Facebook, ask questions, follow us, and I'll get back to you. Once again, my name is Ben Shema. We shall be looking at security issues in Nigeria. We shall also look at, Nigeria has marked what you call the Armed Forces Remembrance Day. Why should we remember them? We are told they are fallen heroes. So we want to look at their lives. Then we'll look at the life of the soldier man in the trenches. When they go to theaters of war, what really should Nigerians do to support them? What about the National Assembly, the executive, and even the military high command? What should they do for the ordinary soldier man in the war, in the trenches? This and many other things we shall be discussing with a one-star general of the Nigerian Air Force who has retired but never ever tired. He's been here and there delivering lectures on security matters in the country. I'm talking of Air Commodore Abdullah Darlington. Welcome to Third Eye TV.
Thank you very much. My great pleasure.
Let us start on, do I call it on a very sad note? Just about 2 days ago, about 22 soldiers or so, including a commander, all were killed in attacks. Our hearts go to them. But how do you feel when colleagues of your nature this way are gone?
Thank you very much. It's always a very sad thing to lose soldiers, to lose our troops, to lose people who are out there to ensure that we have peace and security. People who have abandoned their family, not abandoned, who left their homes to go out there to go and ensure that the rest of us can sleep with our two eyes closed, but never got back home at the end of the day. In battle, in conflict, or in situations such as we have found ourselves, whether in situations involving terrorism and so on, it's most unfortunate that you can hardly predict what happens. But in most cases, because of the strategies employed, the terrorist strategies applied by some of these people, they're highly unpredictable, and it's not a conventional warfare, and they do take our troops by surprise. And I think that is part of what we have witnessed. We lost some soldiers, not just now. It's been going on since the commencement of the conflict. Involving all these terrorist groups, but they died for our country, and we must condole with the families of those that lost their lives. We pray God Almighty to grant the souls of those the departed ones eternal peace, eternal rest. And for those that are alive and still doing their job, I want to urge them never to give up, and the authorities too, to ensure that they get the best treatment they can in defense of our country, in defense of the territorial integrity of our country, and in support of the other forces, that is the police and other things, when it comes to internal security operations, with a view to ensuring that we have better peace, better security in our nation. And of course, because that is just the best way we can develop. Without security, there cannot be development. And so it is very important that our troops given the best they can, and they are supported not just by the government but by the citizenry, the entire citizenry of the nation.
Yes,
one way or
exactly.
the other.
Yes. So, what kind of support should the citizenry be giving the armed forces of Nigeria? Because with fighting terrorism, with fighting banditry, then you have mass of the activities in Niger Delta or not southeastern part of the country. What kind of support should citizens be giving the armed forces of Nigeria?
Yeah, Osman, thank you. There is no way maybe insurgents, terrorists, or other criminals elements will succeed in carrying out their nefarious activities without the support, one way or the other, of some people within the society. That has always been a major issue. They live with us in the society, because they are in this country, in one community or the other, So one would ask the question. The issue is, to what extent are the individuals, the citizens, given the right information to the appropriate authorities to enhance the conduct of their own operations? Because we need to work on information. We need information for the armed forces and other security agencies to be able to effectively discharge their responsibilities. You need intelligence. Yes, we have intelligence forces, but intelligence forces also rely on information from the people, because without that, it will be absolutely difficult to operate. We have had issues not just in the northeast or in the northwest, but all across the country. And of recent, most recently, I would say, the northwest, with a resurgence coming up again in the northeast. That is to say that the issue of strategic patience, that is, when the terrorists or insurgents or criminal elements face imminent defeat by security agencies, they tend to withdraw, and you might wrongly think that they've been defeated and dealt with, and so on and so forth, but they have only done so to enable them regroup, rearm, and so on, and with a view to carrying on their responsibilities. But that period that they are within the society and with the people and so on, information needs to go out one way or the other to the appropriate security agencies so that they can plan operations with a view to dealing with the situation, arresting them or ensuring that they are unable to carry out such illegal activities or kill human beings, destroy society, communities, and so on. So the people, the individuals owe themselves and the entire nation, the duty to give out appropriate information to those who would need them to be able to effectively carry out their operations. It is people that buy food for them. It is people that supply them, help them to get the weapons and then ammunition and all that they are using. People know exactly where they are, but the information does not really go out to those who need to, who require them to be able to effectively tackle them. So without the people, the role of the society, the role of the individuals is very important. As we all say, security is everybody's business. So if you want peace, you must work for peace. If you want to be secure, you have to work for security. That is, support those who have the mandate to go out there to support, to protect the people as well.
Now, we've seen Mali, Burkina Faso, Niger, they've rather pull out from ECOWAS now. And if you also check, Niger has a very large expanse of international boundary with Nigeria. Do you think their action can affect Nigeria negatively in the fight against terrorism?
Definitely. Like you mentioned, the entire northern boundary of Nigeria is we share with Niger Republic, and that means that um, border security should be a major concern to us. We must also know that Niger, Mali, and Burkina Faso fall within the Sahel region, and which is dominated by terrorists and other criminal elements. Those people, I mean, the departure from ECOWAS, their departure from ECOWAS, I don't think is of any, it will be of any great help to them because um, they need to collaborate, all the nations need to collaborate, either collectively or on bilateral basis to be able to ensure that the criminal elements are kept off. But as things are, with the strained relation with ECOWAS, that is, I'm talking about the AES countries, that is um, Burkina Faso, Mali, and for them. I'm talking about France and other countries coming up. We're entering new relationships, and so on. And I mean, it doesn't really go. They might not. They'll be surprised that they won't get the desired results that they otherwise think they will get. At the end of the day, I think it will amount to a situation in which they probably will realize that breaking up with ECOWAS is not the very best they can do. But so far, it might be a bit difficult for them to go back, but I think that they will realize in no time. After all, we hear of reports of various terrorist groups, attacking and killing their own troops as well. So it doesn't really help them. Bringing in, I won't say various, what do you call them? Various um, uh, elements from other countries to support their own forces and so on. Well, yeah, it's a temporary thing because whatever gains they have will be temporary because those ones that are coming in are not. They have some interests that they want to focus on in the long run, and at the end of the day, you find out that they might not get the desired results. They want from those areas. So for us in Nigeria, um, since we don't have the relationship between Nigeria and Niger, as well as the others, are not so good at this point in time. You find that bilateral arrangements or multilateral arrangements, to ensure security of the nations and so on, might not be the best we have at the moment because they need to work together as a team, to be able to confront the threats that we have coming in from various other countries into the region.
Yes. Now, let's bring the issue back home, especially looking at the weapons themselves
Yeah.
for the fight against terrorism, bandits, or insurgency. We've seen that the defense headquarters or high command, they're saying that they will now be manufacturing quite a lot of the equipment being used to fight Boko Haram. For example, they brought these MRAPs, mine resistance personnel carriers, and they said they are being manufactured here in Kaduna, and even assault rifles. So, how do you see this as a kind of helping to, as opposed to importation?
There is no doubt that local manufacturing of our weapons required to combat the insecurity in our nation is the best way to go. Best way to go because you cannot continually rely on other nations, to import weapons. You remember at one time that we needed weapons desperately, and we were told that those weapons will not be sold to us. But people were dying. We needed the weapons. We needed the armed forces needed the weapons to confront the terrorists and so on that are killing our people. But when those weapons didn't come in, it was a big minus for us. But if we are manufacturing our weapons, we will not face such situations. I want to tell you that uh, DICON, you know, came about 60 years
That's
now.
Defense in
The Defense
Industries
Industries
Corporation
Corporation of Nigeria, and they are, the primary purpose is to ensure self-sufficiency in terms of weapon production in our nation and all that. They've been there for quite some time, about the same time with other nations' industries as well, like Brazil and so on and so forth. And
with
we,
India.
yes, we have lagged behind, but then I can tell you that a lot of improvements are being made. Like you talked about the MRAPs, yes, they are of very high standard and mine resistant and all that, which enhances the operations of our troops. So that's this other weapon systems that are being produced also will definitely help us because in combat, a lot of ammunition is used, a lot of weapons are used, and so and need to be replaced as fast as possible. And the easiest way to do that is to bring them up, manufacture them locally, and then easily feed to the troops on the front line without the restrictions we get from some of the foreign nations. Moreover, foreign exchange issues are involved, So when you manufacture these weapon systems here, you save a lot of the exchange money that would have been spent to import them from other nations, coupled with the kind of restrictive issues that come in. They say you have violated human rights and so on and so forth. So they're not going to give us weapons to use against our own people and so on and so forth. People are not just are coming in from outside, and they are being sponsored from outside. As the Chief of Defense Staff mentioned recently, some of those people that have been arrested have been found with lots and lots of foreign currencies in their district. Where are they getting this money from? The kind of weapon systems they are using are not ones that we have, although we have internal sources as well, but then majority of the weapon systems they are using are coming from outside. We have not lost touch with, we must not forget rather, with what happened during the Arab Spring that led to the looting of several armories in various nations, and those weapon systems were being sold cheaply, to people and criminal elements and so on and so forth. That led to the proliferation of weapons, all around the country. But then we need our troops need adequate weapons to be able to discharge their responsibilities. We know that some of the weapon systems being used by these criminal elements are even high caliber, sophisticated one way or the other. But then we need to work hard to ensure that we produce weapon systems that can adequately deal with the situation we face from this, the threats that we face from various groups that are coming in. Lakurawa came in, established in the northwest, but you can see that the progress made of recent has led to several arrests of the kingpins of those elements. Even the Bello Toji and his group are under serious pressure now, and I believe that they know it's a matter of time that will be dealt with. But then, all this can be successful if we can sustain the operation. And to sustain the operation, we need to be able to produce our own weapons, to feed our troops adequately so that they can discharge their responsibilities to the nation and to the people.
Yes. One is taken aback when you look at the way the Lacularas came to Sokoto, KB areas, and some people are saying, look, they've been there, just that they've been taking it gently. Now they are kind of hatching and expanding, and that's how the authorities now know. Now, does it mean that there was a kind of maybe intelligence failure on the part of people? Why was it they didn't see these people, or something? What's your take on this?
Yeah, I agree with you. Lacroix didn't emerge from nowhere, but it's a gradual build-up. You know, they just didn't come in overnight and so on and so forth. You know that at a time our focus was on the northeast. You know, let me say specifically in the Sambisa forest. And then with a bit of expansion and all that. But gradually they started infiltrating into the northwest, and that was when we started having unknown gunmen. You started having bandits because at that time, they were shifting and operating as individuals. So it was just a matter of time for a very powerful person to emerge, just like we have the case of Boko Haram, to emerge to be able to pull them together as a force, to start operating the way what we are seeing now. So the issues of that started when we started having this issue, bandits, unknown gunmen, and so on and so forth, and so on. But there's no doubt that there are also infiltrations from outside, particularly when the border situation became more open than it used to be. More open in the sense that when we have strained relations with our neighbors, then you know that that cooperation that we used to have before will no longer be there. Remember that when France was there, they had a G5 force. G5 force was helping, to contain some of those threats, which made it a bit better for us, and so on. But now they are not there, and the other elements they are bringing in, they will take time to settle and then be able to effectively support the armed forces of those other nations, and with the kind of porosity we have with our borders, because very extensive land borders, then you know that it will not be easy to do that. And the only way out is just not just production of our own weapon systems and so on, but technology as well, because we must rely on technology as a force multiplier, because where a job that you have to do with a battalion can be done by a few people with the aid of technology and so on. So that's to say that we while we're talking about production of our own weapon systems and so on, we also require the technology to support the troops as force multiplier so that they can do better than they are doing as well. Because the best thing is talking about be able to have a good vision of the battlefront and so on, and then and avoid the issue of being taken by surprise and so on. So that's the essence of technology, So that's exactly what we need: battle awareness. I mean, you must have that awareness of what the front line looks like, and be able to plan adequately and so on. Surveillance systems, yes, we have. You can have air surveillance, you can use drones and so on and so forth. But the issue is, if you look at modern warfare, it's a battle of drones now. Drones, because the limitations of manned aircraft, is removed to the extent that drones can stay in the air for a longer period, and you can be remotely controlled and do a lot of things. And then the loss of lives in terms of maybe the pilot and other crew and so on, will be eliminated. Look at what is going on in maybe Russia, Ukraine, and so on, you can see that it has become a battle of drones, and that's exactly what we need to look like. So, what the support we need now, not just the weapons production, but drones, we can call it part of the weapons, but we need to have adequate surveillance systems that will support the troops in their operations.
Mm. Now, even when we're talking about the drones that will fly up sky there and ensure that the military will have this dominance, they are the aggressors, you know. But we still have these some issues internally, talking of proliferation of small arms and light weapons. How can Nigeria actually come out of this? It looks like um, it's readily available.
Yes, thank you very much. You see, um, one thing I can say for sure is that a lot of weapons are in the hands of so many people, so many criminal elements. People easily buy them from certain sources because they are, like I said, even those that looted the armories don't know what to do with them, so they sell them to make money to survive, and so on. So the arms are becoming cheaper and cheaper. A lot of people have them, but fortunately, they will have an arm of the Office of National Security Advisor that is uh, working hard, you know, against this proliferation of small arms and light weapons. I have been privileged to have been there to see them, to have attend their workshops and conferences and so on. And when you get the report of what they are doing, you would, I mean, be very hopeful that because a lot of weapons have been seized, a lot of them, most of the weapons seized have been destroyed. I mean, as required by the United Nations, you know, and so on. So, with such a seizures, I believe that gradually we'll get the desired result. But then we must also work hard to ensure that the porosity of our borders is reduced to the barest minimum, because otherwise the weapons will keep coming in. They are out there, particularly from the Sahel region. You know, there's little we can do about that. Right from Guinea up to Sudan and all that, you know, it's a free for all movement for various terrorist movements and terrorist groups and so on that are very well armed. And when desperate, they move into various countries to with, for survival. And that's why we have increased kidnapping for ransom that is going on because it's a means of survival for them, and so on. So,
Yeah. Well, this is Third Eye TV, and we are on the Central Business District in Abuja. We are at the center of the town, Abuja, and our guest has been a star of the Nigerian Air Force, even though retired but never tired. I'm talking of Air Commodore Darlington Abdullahi. My name is Ben Sherman. Now, let us look at a thing that has just happened. We're talking of the Armed Forces Remembrance Day of Nigeria. Now, why do we need to remember them?
thank you very much. I want to start by noting that I think when we call it the Armed Forces Remembrance Day, we kind of give a wrong perception of what it's all about. You know, rather it should be called the Armed Forces and Remembrance Day because they serve two purposes. The armed forces for those that are in service and are doing their best to protect the nation, and then Remembrance Day for those who have lost their lives, you know, in in an effort to protect the nation. And now, looking at those who have lost their lives, the Remembrance Day, part of the something. You, some of these soldiers have gone out there to fight, you know, um, for various periods of time. Um, they lost their lives, left their families behind, and we should remember that those that are still alive and fighting are seeing what is going on, relating to those that lost their lives, and the kind of what their families go through. So it can be a demoralizer if, for those that are in service, if those who have lost their lives are not, their families are not adequately taken care of. And this necessitates a lot of activities, concerning the widows or the spouses, I would say, because we also have female soldiers, the spouses of our fallen heroes, yes, we do, the Remembrance Day is celebrated all around the world, not just in Nigeria, and it's just a way to bring forth the fact that, yes, those that have departed, wish them, wish that God grants them eternal rest, but then they have families who must be adequately catered for. And when we talk about families, remember, some left when they are kids, their children were very young. They have to go through school and all that. Let them not have a feeling against the system, that their father or their parents served, and as such, there are a lot of things that can be put in place to ensure that these people are adequately taken care of. Scholarships are granted to the children of some of the fallen heroes. Is going on, but to some extent anyway. The families get some kind of I won't say well, they are given certain things to help them to survive, under the present circumstance and all that. All of those are going on. Then, apart from those that lost their lives, there are those who fought and retired and then are still, surviving. They're no longer. They now rely on pension, which everyone knows is limited, in terms of survival. Under the present economic situation and so on, how well can they survive, with the pension they earn? And that's one area I would like to appreciate the effort of the government, particularly from the previous government to the current, in terms of payment of what we call the security department allowance to those that retired and are still surviving, are still alive, to help them survive and also keep them away from criminal activities and all that. But a lot more needs to be done, because it is not easy for the spouses of those that lost their lives in battle to be able to cope with keeping the family going. Not those of us that are alive, it's not easy. I know there are challenges all over. Not to talk about those who no longer, whose spouses are no longer alive, and then they now have to rely on stipends, for survival. For us to have peace in our nation, sustainable peace and development, all of this category of people need to be adequately taken care of.
Yes. Now, we've categorized them into two: armed forces,
Yeah.
then the Remembrance Day.
Yeah.
Now, those still in service, I can see that there's now a barrack named after Tinubu.
Yep.
Tinubu, Bola Ahmed Tinubu Barracks.
Yep.
And so, in other words, let us look at well in service, the welfare of troops. What exactly will they need?
Thank you. You see, the barrack you just talked about is one of those things that is that helps a lot. That is, provide adequate accommodation for troops. Let them live comfortable lives. Let their families be comfortable at home while they are out there in the field, to keep the nation as one. So barrack accommodation is very, very important. They have my latest Tinubu's barrack this thing that was launched recently. It covers from officers down to the non-commissioned officers. I mean, across all ranks are well catered for in that kind of this thing. But it is, and we are also, I've not been there, but at least I learned that it is a barrack that is well equipped and all that. That is, I mean, it gives the soldier a joy that yes, he belongs to the nation. He's not fighting for nothing. He's not there, you know. He hasn't come to suffer just like that. But then, um, to enhance the issue of patriotism, enhance their service to the nation, and so on, I think the issue of barrack is very, very important. Um, Schools are being provided all over various barracks for the children of serving soldiers, as well as some of the children of late soldiers as well. That is yet another area that is very important, because those children need to be adequately catered for. So we do not want them to join any criminal elements, and we need them to be able to grow and be hopeful as citizens of our nation, to aspire to various positions, and not to regret that their parents were ever in the armed forces, served in the armed forces of Nigeria. I am not, I'm retired, but can never regret, because yes, I'm here with you, and I can tell you that I did my best in service, and I will continue to do my best to support those that require the support in terms of training the younger generations of our troops across all services, including the police, civil defense, and all that. You know, that's exactly where my focus is, to see how best we can make them do better than they should do. They know there's a need for continuity, you know, ensure that we do not lose touch with what used to happen in service and all that. So we're there to keep reminding them of how to serve their nation, the best they can give to their nation, and of course that it is never in vain, you know, and so on. So those are some of the things that we do. So apart from education, apart from the barrack accommodation, allowances and other needs of survival and so on, I mean, are things that we all need, whether you are in the police, civil defense, or the armed forces, you know, I mean, we are all the same. You go out there to ensure that there's peace and security, and that's the only option, the only way we can ensure development.
Now, how do you see wives of service chiefs as a kind of bringing cohesion into families? Because you have associations like Defense Officers Wives Association, the POA, you have NAOA, Nigerian Army Officers Association, you have Air Force, Navy, you even have the police and others. So, how do you see that as a kind of stitching the barracks together?
Yes, thank you very well. You know, like they always talk about the home front, you know, our soldiers will never keep talking about thanking their wives for maintaining the home front, keeping the home, you know, together while they are out there serving. Even those that are not in the battlefield, you know, military posting is such that from time to time you are moved around the country, so you are never at home. So these women are the ones that are actually running the homes, you know, and so on. And not to be left alone, not to also not also to be guided and supported in one way or the other. The associations, Army Officers Wives Association, Naval Officers Wives Association, Air Force Officers, the POA, the Defense and Police Officers Wives. I mean, all of them together are ensuring that the home front is still better, you know, kept together the way they should, because they organize programs to support each other, they educate each other, they help each other, because there are those that need to be maybe trained one way or the other to acquire skills that will help them, I mean, life survival skills and so on and so forth. So you find that most of these associations have some of those things in place. Um, Take for instance, you see what we're talking about, like even hospitals and so on, like Nigerian Army Officers' Wives Hospital in Asokoro, one of the best that we have, around and so on. So they help to garner, support, not just from the armed forces, but from civil society as well, to ensure that those of them that are taking care of the homes are better. I will not say well, better taken care of, so that they those that they have their spouses that are out there in the field, we have that peace of mind that yes, the wives or husbands also that are children, are adequately taken care of. So those associations, the POA, NAFOA, and NAOA, and so on, they are doing wonderfully well. Um, in fact, they coming together once in a while to meetings, workshops, and so on that they carry on. Helps a lot. To keep them going, give them hope, and also know that uh, husbands or spouses that are out there, are there for not just them, but for the nation, and so on. And pray for them that they succeed, carry out their operation successfully, and come back home in peace.
And maybe to put it lightly, is it why, or is that why that when you have, like you now, Air Commodore, then your wife should have the rank of Air Vice Marshal? They said the wife is always a rank ahead of the, of the husband.
You see, when we get promoted, and remember, we are being decorated with our new ranks. Remember that our wives are always on one side
Yeah,
to help to decorate us.
yeah.
And when you finish decorating you, what do? You turn,
And
salute your commander, salute and salute your wife as well. If he's not higher than you, in one step ahead of you, why would you
why
salute
would you
her?
salute her?
So you can see that they have contributed immensely to your being promoted one way or the other. Because if you don't have peace at home, you falter in your place of work, and so on. So their contribution is immense, and we must recognize that fact and give them that the required respect, so that they will do more, give you peace at home, so I can go out to work and do better than you should have normally do.
Yeah. Now we're coming very close to the end of this interview, but not without asking those who are just at the last step to retire, who maybe are under the illusion that after retirement they will still be enjoying like they are in service. What advice will you give, particularly for non-commissioned officers?
Yeah, thank you very much. The system recognizes the fact that when out of retirement, you shouldn't just go and eat and sleep. The system is very much aware of that. And that is why we have the Armed Forces Resettlement Center in Oshodi and so on. As you are transiting from the service to the civil life, you are put through, you pass through that kind of establishment where you acquire skills, your mentality, your attitude, and all that. You are made to understand that look, we are leaving the military to to a kind of civil life, but you cannot continue to behave the same way, and that your income, will drop one way or the other, and you need to work hard to sustain the family. In addition to the pension that you would earn, along the line, and also ensure that look, you are part of the society, the civil society. When we talk about civil-military relations, you know that your attitude in maybe in the barracks or while in service should not be exactly the same thing as while when you are out there in the field. Now in the civil society, because you are now mixing properly with the your colleagues from the civil sector, and as such, you must be able to blend. I mean, fit in well to that society. So there are those kind of trainings that are given to them first to enhance the relationship between them and the civil society, and also give them skills that they can leverage on, for survival to support whatever income they are getting from the pensions that they earn. This is not limited to the other ranks, the non-commissioned officers alone. It's the same thing with the commissioned officers. At our level, we are passed through, some of us have to go to ASCON, the administrative staff college. They have to learn to do, acquire some skills as well, learn some things, and then we also go through some form of training, prior to retirement, pre-retirement training. I've attended some pre-retirement workshops, and in fact, I personally have organized pre-retirement training for a lot of some of our personnel, with a view to enhancing their survival out of that, the kind of businesses they can engage in, for survival and so on. The things we talk about, because investment, useful investment, profitable investment is very important. The money you earn from your retirement, as retirement benefits, should not just be something you put in the bank and then they eat it. You must invest profitably, invest in a manner that it will help you and the family while you are out there and so on. So investments, opportunities, and so on. They are brought. It's brought to their knowledge that they learn all of these things with a view to ensuring that life after retirement is something they should enjoy, something others, who are even in service, looking at them, should look forward to, and so on. Like I said earlier, yes, in retirement, I have to do a lot of things and so on and so forth. And I can tell you that as president of the Alumni Association of the National Defense College, with over 2,700 retired military officers and so on, we meet regularly to discuss all of these things, not just for ourselves, but contribution to the service, contribution to the nation. Because we discuss military operations as well, and then see what inputs can we make to what's going on, and so on. Whether you are out of service or in service, we are all the same. We have a duty to protect our nation, and we all work hard. Those, who must be supported from time to time, and so on. So, and the children that are fallen heroes left behind, they must be given opportunity to rise to the highest level, they are capable of.
So finally, that also entails the National Assembly should support the armed forces very well, because the budget is with them.
Yeah, thank you for raising this issue. It's important that we understand the issue of appropriations to the armed forces, the issue of the budgeting system, and so on. There have always been this cry about the envelope system adopted for the armed forces or various security agencies. It doesn't really work, because the needs of the envelope system may not support the take care of the needs of the various security agencies from time to time, particularly when conflict is at an intense level, that weapon systems are running out fast, and they need to be replaced very fast. I remember there was a time that there was a request for about for the intervention, to enable the services acquire weapon systems and so on. Look, what they get rather from the budgets system and so on. It's not even enough to fit, to buy an aircraft, to refit the ships. If you want to get Aradu, for example, and as Aradu properly working, the entire Nigerian Navy budget will just go into it, and so on. So there are always needs. There's always a need for interventions outside the budgeting system to enable the armed forces to be able to carry out their operational activities effectively. Today, we're talking about insurgency, terrorism, and so on. The Air Force cannot operate without well-armed helicopters, without drones, and so on and so on. Those are very expensive things. In the Niger Delta, the patrols are required to protect our economic resources that are there. The Navy needs those boats, very armed, well armed, better than those that the pirates and so on are using, or the oil thieves and so on are using, to be able to protect the oil, our facilities there for the betterment of our nation, our economy. Since our resources come mainly from crude oil sales and all that, So the budgeting system needs to be reviewed. The National Assembly needs to take a serious look at the way the security agencies are funded, with a view to combating the growing threat that we face from within and outside our nation.
We've had it all. We need better budgeting. We need to take care of the troops at the trenches. We need accommodation for them, better salaries. We need to kit them, welfare in general, and those who have died, they left loved ones. They have to be taken care of. These are the opinions of Commodore Abdullahi Darlington. We want to thank you for coming to the Third Eye TV.
My great pleasure.
My name is Ben Sherman. Like us, follow us, share us. We all are together in defense issues. Thank you for watching, and bye for now.